Hey, what's going on? It's Douglas J. Beck here again. It's Thursday afternoon, and I'm here with you and actually broadcasting this. I think I'm doing it the right way today. I made an attempt yesterday, but didn't work. Hopefully, you can hear me in a few different groups, including our real estate investing mastermind group, the Growth Collective, the community, all the different places that you might hear this. I hope that this video is, in fact, broadcasting there. So I know it's live right inside of the Real Estate Investing Mastermind group. We also have our private coaching clients in the Growth Collective that would want to hear this. So I'm making sure that we broadcast there as well. If you guys could do me a favor when you hear me and you hear this live, please comment live, LIVE. You could also put, the location where you're based out of in whatever city or state. Let us know what you're focusing on as a real estate investor. Today, we're going to be talking about how to close a deal inside of 30 days, right? I think my team put 30 to 60 days, but I want to focus on the next 30 days. And this is actually being broadcast also in some older groups that we have, the 30-day challenge groups. That's my intention, is to have folks that might be there that either made an attempt to do that in terms of closing a deal in their first 30 days or are currently doing that. I see Cynthia's in the room. I see Crystal's here. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for hearing me and putting live and where you're based out of. Feel free to share anything else about your contact information, what you're focusing on, anything you're looking for. Use the chat and use the comments to connect with people in the groups. In addition to that, I'm going to ask you guys, who's in the room here as far as experience level, because normally I see a Zoom room, but right now I'm looking at a live dashboard on Facebook Live. Okay, so I want to make sure my audio is okay. My video, it seems like it's okay, although seems like it's a little bit jerky. I don't know why that is, but we'll do our best. Hopefully it stays with us. And we got Jacqueline in the room as well, live from Maryland, looking to start investing. Excellent. Perfect. So, outside of real estate investing, I'm curious what everybody's doing, what you currently do, and what you're looking to do. And Dan's in the room as well. What's up, Dan? I see you there. I'm going to go ahead and like these. I think I can do that right from that's pretty cool. Usually I can't engage on Facebook as simply when I'm doing the presentation or the live discussion. So I do kind of like this dashboard feature. If anyone else out there is looking to do Facebook live stuff and you're not sure whether you're going to do it through Zoom and then into Facebook or if you're going to go directly on Facebook, there's definitely some pros and cons, right? Because I can't really interact with those of you that are hearing me broadcast live right now. I can just see your comments, which is not as ideal as being in the same Zoom room. But then again, Zoom disconnects me from the Facebook interaction. So I can't really see you guys as far as what you're saying when I ask a question, for example, there either. So there's pros and cons here, but I think it's working pretty well. So we'll let it like this for now. Jacqueline says that she's a realtor and a nurse, but going full speed real estate this year. Excellent. Cynthia is 18 years in real estate. God bless. That's awesome. And working with 3 groups of investors, including one who's working with us right now. So I'm excited about that as well. And Kristen, welcome, Kristen. Kristen's also part of our community, so welcome, Kristen. Appreciate you being here. And Crystal, a realtor, excited about taking part in investment opportunities. So we got a full room already, and we're just getting started. I know that the topic is exciting. In the past, we've had conversations about closing your first deal. In the past, we've talked about the wholesale contract flipping process and how to do a deal literally in 5 days, right? So there's content in this group. Well, depending on which group you're hearing this in, if you go to the reimastermind.com, the reimastermind.com, I'm going to drop that link if I can right now into the chat, into the, not the chat, it's actually the comments, I guess. And I think it's going to post on all of them, but I'm not exactly sure. If you're not already hearing this message inside of the Real Estate Investing Mastermind group on Facebook, then you can go to that website there and quickly just put your name, phone number, email, and you'll get direct access to the Facebook group and some other stuff. You'll get access to the deals that we bring and the opportunities we have, et cetera. So with that being said, I also want to share something that, first off, again, Happy New Year. All right, if we haven't talked, you haven't heard me yet. I did it live yesterday, actually yesterday evening. It was almost not even 24 hours ago. And I attempted to do it through Facebook where I had it going in different groups. And unfortunately, it looked like it just went to my personal page. So I screwed that up, unfortunately. But then I shared it to different places. So I hope that right now you all are hearing me, as many as you can, hear me live and it's in the right place. I'm just going to trust that the team is taking care of that. Again, today we're going to be focusing on how to close a deal literally this month or in the next 30 days or less. And so I want to give you guys kind of a story about where I got started, how I got started, what kind of that looked like, and then kind of bridge into how, if I were starting all over again, how would I close my first deal inside of 30 days. All right. Is that fair? Do you guys want to hear about that? If you want to hear that, tell me 30 days. Just put 30 days as a comment somewhere you're hearing this message, wherever you hear this message, 30 days. If you want to hear my story and you want to hear how I'm going to help you kind of redo this from the start, if you're brand new and closing your next deal in 30 days or less, then just put the comment 30 days. I'll give you guys a couple seconds, get myself some water here. And again, Happy New Year. Hope you guys are excited for 2024. It's going to be an interesting year, that's for sure. Lots of different things going on in the world that we have to consider. So 30 days, Moses 30 days, Cynthia 30 days, excellent. I know the rest of you hearing this, you might be a little shy or whatever. You're just not in the mood of putting a comment. It's all good. I won't hold it against you. Kristen says 30 days. So look, at the end of the day, right, 30 days, it sounds like not that far, but actually it's a lot of time. It's a lot of time depending upon how we invest our time. So I'm going to take you guys back to when I first started as a real estate investor, when I was doing this on a part-time basis. Okay, it was back in 2014. In fact, this month we'll celebrate 10 years in business as JDL Ventures, our company that we started, my wife and I, back in January of 2014. So, and I'm excited about that, and I'm blessed to say that, and all glory to God. And, it's not been possible without our team, without the folks, you listening to this message, people contributing and participating in the different things we've done and the ways that we've transacted in business. With that being said, right, when I first started, it was part-time. And so I had a very short window of time, like an hour or two a day, that I was able to put into the business. And so my mentor at the time, I made an investment of almost $30,000, if you don't know my story, into a mentorship program. And it taught me a lot. It was more education and support. It was definitely helpful. It was very helpful to get me kind of, a kick in the butt to get going. It wasn't really focusing on, as much for me at least, implementation locally or with specific elements of how I could do deals in my market. And that's what I really am challenged to do with you all, is to help you understand your specific market, your specific scenario, and how I can help you navigate through that today in 2024, not, from a year or two ago or 10 years ago or 20 years ago. Like, unfortunately, a lot of different programs are structured. And so as it was 2014, literally a decade ago. And my daughter was just born, my middle child. My daughter is now almost 10, as you could put two and two together. My wife was, just had given birth. She just got out of the hospital, and here I am thinking about putting out $30,000 to a group that I never met before, that I went into some, training thing, a master class of sorts, and learned about this concept of assigning contracts and wholesale flips. And here I am hearing some guy out of Arizona telling me about how amazing it is and how it's made him millions of dollars and da-da-da-da. And isn't that all too familiar? Like, we hear these stories all the time. If you guys hear gurus on the internet, like, I'm not a guru, right? But if you hear people that are gurus on the internet saying, you can make all this money with no money, no time, no nothing, just do it, it's going to happen, snap your fingers, just put the word guru if you heard that before somewhere. I just want to hear who's paying attention and who's heard a guru, at least one or two, maybe 5 or 10 recently, saying that it's just magic that money starts appearing in your bank account from doing nothing. Right. And that's kind of, unfortunately, the way that a lot of these different individuals are promoting and pitching their offers as far as what they offer to their clients. And I just want to make sure I'm closing out some windows here, as I got some resourcing things on my computer. It looks like the connection's good, but it just looks a little bit like it's struggling with the memory or something. Let me just close down some things here. Hold on one sec. Okay. Bear with me one moment. Okay. So we should be a little better now, but nobody's heard. I mean, come on, you guys are either not hearing me or you're not comfortable putting the word guru for some reason. I don't know why, but just put GURU if that's something you've heard. Like, oh, you get to snap your fingers, right? And just all of a sudden money starts flying from the sky. That's not the way the business works, right? I learned this by doing it, by attempting to follow those instructions of just snapping my fingers, basically, not literally, but like kind of in metaphorical sense, and expecting something to happen. So what I realized, though, was that I had to break this down into a process. And my background, everybody, is in corporate IT and procurement. Okay, so I come from a corporate IT background. I see Kevin's in the room. What's up, Kevin? Cynthia says you got to ignore them. Absolutely, 100%. Too good to be true, 100%. Kristen, Annie's in the room as well. So, you got to consider that there's a process here. Right. And so I'm going to give you guys that framework. I know a lot of you have already heard this, but if you have a pen and paper, it'd be a good idea to take some notes today. So the 5 steps that I learned, that I realized, right, when I brought this down, I thought about process because I came out of corporate IT and process. That was my background before real estate. And so I was thinking about how do I break this down to be easy to understand and implement this in my own business, and then ultimately collaborate with others in the future, like I am doing now. We have done now hundreds of times, in terms of wholesale flips and collaborative wholesale and doing hybrid wholesale and doing different fix and flip projects using 100% OPM, all kinds of cool stuff. But I broke it down to 5 steps, right? So the 5 steps, as you might have heard, are identify, number one. Number two, analyze. Number three, negotiate. Number four, contract. And number five, close. Identify, analyze, negotiate, contract, and close. That's the 5 steps, right? And so when I realized this, I'm saying, okay, I can go out there and do lead generation using direct mail marketing, which is how I started in the business, right? Again, I see Kevin's in the room. So Kevin was one of the first people I met in the business at a real estate investing event. And I remember him sitting across from me. He said, hey, so you sound like you're looking to do deals. How are you going to go get these deals? How are you going to find these opportunities, these magical opportunities that you're talking about, Mr. Beck? Like, great to meet you. Awesome that you're excited. You're in a suit and tie. And the first ever event you went to is you think you have to dress professional. That's what I'm saying in my head. I'd say, I got to go there all buttoned up and dressed up, ready to roll. Like I'm going to go, negotiate the biggest deal of my life. And in some ways, I guess I kind of did in the aggregate level because it changed the trajectory of my life and my family's life. But at the end of the day, what I first started doing was the wrong thing, if you ask me to do, which is in the beginning to focus on generating leads, like going out to the universe of people, this massive populace of individuals and a business that we're not that familiar with, and a place where most people don't want to do the thing that we want them to do as far as selling for a discount. They don't have the motivation that we think they might. We try to find that motivation. We try to create this motivation. We try to almost grab them by the arm and say, let's go get motivated to sell this thing for a discount. And that's just not feasible in most cases. And so I realized that by doing all this marketing, all this outbound direct mail stuff, spending literally thousands upon thousands of dollars every month on top of the investment or the cost expense, we're going to call it, for the mentorship I went through. Here I am now, like 40, 50K invested about 6 months in. And what do I have to show for it? Zero. I have no revenue. I called up the guy who is in Arizona who runs the mentorship, and I said, hey, I think I got to exit out of this. It's not really working. I'm way too far in, but I just don't see how this is going to pan out. I've gotten way too much rejection. Nothing's working. I'm following your process. What's happening here? He goes, I understand. I hear you. I respect you. And if he didn't have that conversation with me, I might not be sitting here helping pay it forward with you all. So I'm just thankful that Cody is his name, took the time to share that, that encouragement and that motivation for me to say, look, man, like it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy, because here I am thinking that I just put out mail, I just follow this process, and all of a sudden magically stuff just starts happening. But here's what I was missing. Remember I said, number one, identify. Number two, analyze. Number three, negotiate. Number four, contract. And number five, close. I was so focused on lead generation that, check it out, I didn't even know how to, and I didn't realize I forgot how to analyze properties correctly, right? So if you guys right now are sitting here listening to me and you're saying, man, like this sounds kind of familiar. I'm getting people selling me or trying to sell me houses, either direct to seller or talking to an agent or talking to a wholesaler, but maybe I don't fully understand the analysis stuff because I haven't done a project yet. Then if that's you, just put analysis, or, just put analysis or step 2 or something like that, because I want to know who might need some support on analysis. Both, people that are in this group for free, this free group that is being broadcast right now, and also my coaching clients that are working with us in an engagement in the Growth Collective. Who needs help with analysis? Don't be afraid, because probably, I would say almost everybody needs help with analysis, okay? And it's not to get stuck in analysis paralysis, but without analysis, we can't go down the path to negotiate. We can't make an offer successfully or properly. Because see, like if I don't know how to analyze, then what's to say that I'm making the right offer if I don't know how the numbers really work? So check this out. I'm going to give you guys, I see Esther's here. Thank you. And thank you for being honest and saying that's where you're focusing. Kristen as well. Okay. The tool, and I'm going to talk about the process, but the tool that you want to use is runyournumbers.com. Runyournumbers.com. That tool is being used by us and all of our clients in the coaching group to help you properly analyze deals, literally like this. Now, I don't know if it's going to work because haven't done it before, so I'm not going to attempt it right now. But if we have time, I will show you an example of an analysis that we did in what's called our hot seat discussion with one of our coaching clients, one of our inner circle coaching clients and mastermind members. Her name's Jasmine. Jasmine's up in New York. Jasmine might hear this message, so Jasmine, shout out to you. I have from yesterday's conversation with somebody else an example where we broke down in detail the analysis on how to look at a 5-unit, in this case, property that Jasmine had been considering buying in Kentucky. Now, you might say, well, how could somebody in New York buy a property in Kentucky? That's a whole nother story. It's not as difficult as you might think. It just takes the focus and the knowledge and the analysis and the team and the process, all the things we're talking about today, to make something like that happen. But the fact is that deal analysis I broke down yesterday in about 40-ish minutes. I rebroke it down after doing it with Jasmine across about another 30 or 40 minutes initially, but I explained it to somebody else, okay? And I explained it in a way that was detailed so we know not just what the numbers are, but why are those numbers what they are. So things like, for example, how to calculate the potential appraised value of a commercial piece of property using the cap rate and the income approach appraisal method, which many people, that might sound like another language. And that's what it was for me too in the beginning. But then I got into the lending business because I worked at a fund and helped lend money through that fund. And now I own part of a fund and help raise money for that fund, but the different one, right? But at the end of the day, I learned how properties are valued because I dealt with appraisers firsthand. I saw many appraisals. I understood the different methods of valuation and underwriting, all that stuff firsthand. And so now I'm here to share some of that with you. But the fact is, if I have time, I might go through that. I may turn it into a video. I'm not sure. But analysis, and I appreciate what Cynthia said. I mean, Cynthia and everyone else, yes, real estate agents and realtors can help you analyze. But I would say there's definitely most agents, probably not Cynthia, but most agents don't understand how to estimate repairs. They don't understand how cash flow properties really work. They don't understand how money kind of works with debt service coverage ratio type loans. It's just because it's not something that's trained in real estate school or lived unless you're working with investors. Now, Cynthia, I know, works with investors, so I'm quite sure Cynthia understands. She's also part of the community with us, so she probably is getting that firsthand experience and getting that understanding deeper. But most, I said most, right? Not everybody, don't have the understanding of the analysis. And so we got to get, though, from identification and lead gen to analysis as quick as possible. And we want to have a target to get every single deal that's generated, every single possible deal. We want to analyze it. There's no reason not to analyze it unless you're like, that's in an area that I don't want to analyze. So the identification process is not going to take very long. You know, the simple way to do that is use social media. So I'm going to tell you again today, and we can go into detail. We've done trainings on this before. You could go on to certain Facebook groups, and we talk about this in the Dealmaker Live. It's part of our educational side of what we do. In the Dealmaker Live, the next one's coming up in about a week, I think. So check out the details the team's putting out about that. But that's a 3-hour intensive workshop style type of event, not just a training, but actually an implementation workshop where you can come in and implement these strategies with us. So if you want to get access to that, my team can post a link here for you. It's thedealmakerlive.com. Get registered for that, get signed up, and it's coming up next week. We do that once a month, but next week is the one, and we may not do it forever once a month. We've only done it a few months now in a row, and we've also offered it for free for general admission, but that might change because we're realizing that people need to have a reason to show up. And sometimes it's putting out, 15, 20, 30 bucks just to show up because unfortunately we get people registering that just don't come. And that's not going to help you grow if that's somebody that maybe that sounds familiar. Maybe you've registered for stuff, you just don't go to it. So that's not a good habit, right? You got to commit to something and stick with it. Anyways, identification to analysis, there needs to be a one-to-one. Like every lead that I can generate, I need to analyze it to some extent. I shouldn't be generating leads that are not in areas that I would invest in. I need to turn that off if that's the case. I need to turn down the volume of the stuff that doesn't matter. I need to remove distractions. I need to put myself in a place like this home office to focus where doors are closed and it's quiet and I can get things done. That might be your car, by the way. It was mine. In the beginning, when I first started on a part-time basis, it was conference rooms where no one was inside of the facility that I was working at, and it was outside in my car on lunch breaks and on the way home and on the way to work. That's what I literally did. So if that sounds familiar again, I'm with you, okay? You need to have quiet, focused area to look at stuff, analyze, and ultimately get on the phone to ask questions. So step one, again, is identify, right? How do I identify? I go on social media. I find groups that have real estate investors that are already transacting deals real estate agents that are already transacting deals in my markets that I want to invest in, and I make connections, right? We have a process in what we do in our done for you services called the TLC marketing system. So that stands for traffic, leads, and conversations. Traffic is getting people to see what you're doing. Leads is to extract who's interested in working with you or giving you what you need, in this case, a property or a deal. Conversations is getting into literally conversation and talking about that opportunity to work together and collaborate on that particular transaction. So if you're not doing the TLC for your business, then you're not going to be getting leads generated and you're not going to be able to make things happen and go into analysis. And so in analysis though, right, we're going into analysis, we want to use tools like run your numbers. Yes, we could use people like real estate agents. We could use, contractors to help us analyze, but all that adds complexity. So I want you all to understand step one is going to be this is the following. Go into a Facebook group today, right, and connect with at least 5 what look to be wholesalers or agents that bring deals. Connect with them. Send them a message, right? Private message. Hey, I see you had a deal in such and such area, and I'm interested in getting more information. Have a conversation on direct messenger. Begin the analysis process. They've already posted a deal, so they've already identified an opportunity. It's already sitting right there. We've done trainings on this before. Like I said, you'll see more of that also at the Dealmaker Live. But the deal has already been identified. Potential deal, right? It's not a deal for you yet, but it's a potential deal. Just like everything else, it's a potential. Like talking to a seller is a potential. Talking to an agent that has a property off market coming soon is a potential. Talking to an agent that has a listed property is still a potential. It's not a deal yet. So don't turn off the lead gen for the simple things. In fact, add more of those fishing lines in the water to get more leads coming in. So on a daily basis, we're getting dozens, literally dozens of opportunities all across the country sent to our company. And our challenge right now is analyzing those. So actually, sometimes we'll send those opportunities, depending on where they are, to clients and members of the Growth Club that'll look at them before we even get a chance to really dive in deeper. And that's an opportunity that you can have like a first look. So that's another reason why maybe you want to check out jointhegrowthcollective.com. If you're interested in plugging into a community of real estate investors that are all focusing on putting deals together, want to close a deal inside of 30 days or less, jointhegrowthcollective.com has literally your first 30 days in order of day by day, week by week. I'm breaking it down today very simply, but in the guide section of the Facebook group that you'll get access to if you join us in the Growth Collective in the community, you're going to have literally day 1, week 1, day 2, week 1, or week 1, day 2, week 1, day 3. It's literally 30 days of content and steps to follow and videos to watch, very short ones generally speaking, sometimes a little bit longer to get you the support and the detail. But you can go through that content even in advance of 30 days, okay? Join thegrowthcollective.com/community right there. I think it probably goes to the same, but that's okay. That's fine, Joe. Thank you for putting that there. Again, that's for somebody who wants to close a deal like in the next 30 days. We have the content and the structure. We also have access. You get, as part of our community, you get access as a VIP to all of our events. So you don't have to pay for the event, like coming up, the VIP ticket, which does cost money. If you go VIP, you get access for free with that. So if you want to get the free access to the VIP, what that means, which you'll see on the Dealmaker Live page, go ahead and check out jointhegrowthcollective.com. You'll learn more about that. Now, analysis though, again, runyournumbers.com. That's the tool of choice. The process is different depending upon fix and flip versus buy and hold. So if you're looking to fix up and sell a property, you want to understand what I'm buying it for potentially, but also what's it going to be sold for when it's done. And then what's the thing in the middle? What's that renovation look like? What's the scope of the renovation? What's the budget? You're going to want to ask questions. To do this fast, we got to be willing to go to places where the deal is already existing. It's already there. It's already available for sale. Someone's already done the hard part, which is getting the seller to agree to sell at a price that we think is a good price to buy at. Even if you're a wholesaler, this is a strategy you could use. Right? And I've talked about hybrid wholesale, and I've talked about collaborative wholesale and relationship-based acquisitions. And these are things that not everyone's talking about. And now there's people that have built businesses on a national level, which we're working on different factors of this in our business. But there's people that have built up organizations and brokerages that do this on a national level, exactly what we're describing, which is interesting, right? Because I've been talking about JV and collaborative wholesale for like almost a full decade, basically, because my first deal and our first deal as a company and hundreds later have been through the same mechanism that I'm describing, which is working with other people that already have deals available and utilizing our list and network of investors to sell the deal to. So we're going to talk about that maybe today, maybe not, but there's already video content. If you're curious about that, I'm trying to think, maybe put the letters JV. If you're interested in how you could joint venture JV, okay, put that into the chat. That's what most people will call joint venturing on wholesale, which basically means collaborating with other wholesalers in a strategic way to bring them value. Okay. Specifically, what we do is do what's called dispositions. So we focus on the second half. We take a contract to closing. We enter into a joint venture agreement. So if you have a deal under contract and you're looking to dispo that deal or sell that opportunity to somebody else, you can send it to wholesale at jdlventures.com. Wholesale at jdlventures.com. I have a team that's intaking and analyzing deals all across the country and bringing those opportunities to our network of paid members and clients and also other people that are investors in our communities. So if you have a deal, again, send it to wholesale at jdlventures.com. If you're looking to buy a deal, you want to send an email to sales at jdlventures.com. If you're a buyer and you just want to transact with us, send an email with some criteria of what you're looking to buy to sales at jdlventures.com. But check it out. We're talking about closing a deal in the next 30 days, okay? We got to step 2 so far, which is identify and analyze. In the analysis phase, I'm looking at what I'm buying it for, what I'm going to renovate it for, if I'm doing a fix and flip, and what I'm going to sell it for. And all that stuff has to be validated, but we're not there yet. We haven't gone through due diligence. We're kind of estimating stuff. I call it the first pass. The first pass needs to be like, hey, it's my best estimate. I need to trust but validate the numbers or verify the numbers. Then we move into what about buy and holds? Well, buy and hold is different. We're looking at, how much equity, maybe not profit, how much equity is there in this particular deal, and how much cash flow can I generate potentially if I were to keep this as a rental? So those are different questions, right? That's a different animal. That's a different concept. And so really we want to be careful that we don't mix up the analysis for fix and flip with the analysis for buy and hold. We want to make sure we're understanding there's a difference here. And so I train and coach on that, again, inside the Growth Collective. Join thegrowthcollective.com is your gateway to get more information about how you can work with us and how it's different than most of what else is out there. Because fact of the matter is, we don't just coach, right? Myself and the coaches that we have on staff don't just coach. We actually implement. We're living proof in the business of working on and working in our businesses. And so we just kind of pay it forward and give back to the network of members and community that we have. And we look to transact and help bring value, not just from a higher level element of like coaching, but actually an implementation focus. And so, what does that look like in real life? Well, we have people bringing deals. We have people bringing capital. We have people partnering up. There's people in New Jersey that have partnered up on multiple deals together. I've seen in the group. We got people in Texas bringing capital to deals in Florida and different parts of the country. So people in Hawaii, there's a particular member in Hawaii who just done over 1,000 units she just put up. I saw because she connected with somebody who was coaching with us and she went on to go work with that individual, which is amazing. And actually, she's gone on to do some amazing stuff with their group and in their coaching group. So you never know where this might lead you. It's one step in the direction where you want to go. And that's the whole point, is to take action towards where you want to go. So analysis, though, yields what? It yields a result of, hey, this deal either kind of makes sense or it kind of doesn't make sense. And I say kind of because we don't know for sure. We haven't walked in the house yet. We haven't figured out if this deal is really a deal or if it's just an idea or a possibility. How do we get there? Well, we have to ask more questions. We have to ask more questions. We have to be curious. Hey, tell me about this. How'd you come up with that number for the renovation? What's the scope? Or what's the condition of the kitchen? Do you have pictures of the inside? Let me see the HVAC. Let me see the roof. If you have any information about the age of the roof, or let me see the systems. Is there any seller's disclosure? Like, is there any detail about the condition that I can look at and analyze? You might also need to ask for help, though. Like I think Cynthia said, asking a real estate agent, but you might also need to ask a contractor. So maybe you need to get connected with a contractor, right? We coach on this as well, as leveraging other people's experience in their respective focus areas like construction or real estate, buying and selling, leveraging their experience to be able to do the things that we don't know how to do yet because we haven't done them yet. Okay. We move into the negotiation phase. By the way, that first couple of phases should take you a week or two to find one opportunity, if not many. Okay. A week or two. So right now we're in day 7 to day 14, depending upon how fast you're going when it comes to, looking at the lead gen, who you're connecting with, how you're conversing, what you're doing. If you're using Facebook, you're using, networking events, depends on if you went out to a physical event, you connected with some people, or you went online, which is way more efficient, honestly, and connect with people online from all across the country, all across the world. I like that. I like networking in person too, but I like efficiency when it comes to sourcing deals. So I have a staff that's literally focusing on reaching out to people that have opportunities all across the internet and bringing those in to analyze. And then we have a staff that analyzes, a team that analyzes the deals using the same tool, runyournumbers.com, which helps analyze the numbers and give you the, is it a deal, is it not a deal, is it a great deal or a good deal or not a good deal at all. But we got to get to a place where we could do what? What comes after analysis? Once I know the numbers I need to be at, what do you think we need to do next? Take a guess. I can't get into a contract until I do this. I have to make a what? Make a or an offer. I need to make an offer. So if I don't make an offer, right, and maybe you put that, I don't know, I can't because it's sometimes a little bit slow here at Facebook. It looks like it's a little bit tricky. It's not totally keeping up with everything I'm saying, or maybe it's because of different groups. I don't know. I need to make an offer. Now, without making an offer, I can't enter into contract because if I don't make the offer, they're not going to know, the other side's not going to know I want to buy this property and what price am I buying it for. All right, so let me see here. It's giving me some notifications again. Are you guys hearing me okay? Try to see if I can close down some other stuff that's open in the background. Let's see here. I'm going to close down some applications. I don't even know what some of these things are. I'm just noticing my little tray thing here. Okay. We should be good. I'm going to close this one and that one too. Okay. So we'll go with our best. Hopefully it sticks with us and hearing us. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Cynthia. So yes, Kristen, offer, Esther, offer. Perfect. Thank you, Cynthia, again. And Gabriel works very closely, on the wholesale side. So he's helping on the business development assistance. He's one of the folks helping with the wholesale team. And so definitely send the email over to wholesale, and Gabriel might be the person to reach out to you. With that being said, though, making the offer, right? So making the offer, I mean, look, at the end of the day, how long does it take to make an offer? Not very long. Hey, listen, after my analysis, my team and I looked at everything and we're excited about the opportunity here to buy this property. Based on our assumptions, based on what you told us, and based on our preferences as buying and based on making a fair profit, I can offer, my company can offer, I'm willing to pay, right? We can close within 30 days and pay this much cash or with private money. That's an offer. That's a verbal commitment that then gets memorialized, put into writing through an email and a contract eventually. But what I'm saying is, I want to be very clear, see, because there's a difference of opinion here, and this is like kind of a nuance, but a very important one. And I'm not saying this in a derogatory way to any of my agent friends, because this is not a derogatory comment, but it's like the way that agents use the word offer is different than what I use as offer when I'm talking about as an investor. You see, because when someone says we got an offer as an agent, right? Anybody who's an agent knows what I'm talking about. That usually means that someone submitted, because the property is probably listed on the MLS, someone submitted an offer through a contract, signing the contract, making an offer on paper, which is committing to buy the property. That's great, but that's not the kind of offer that I'm talking about when I'm talking about as an investor making an offer. Making an offer means I'm looking at the numbers and I'm verbally committing that based upon what you've told me so far, this is where I can buy this property at price-wise and terms-wise. And once I make that commitment, then I hear your feedback if you're on the other side as a wholesaler, an agent, a seller, and I could then have a conversation about negotiating a deal. But I can't negotiate if I don't make the offer. I want to lead the negotiation. I want to make the offer. Even if they have a price, hey, their price is $200,000, $300,000, whatever it is. If I'm at half of that price, I'm still going to probably make the offer and tell them how I got there. Because check it out. Our company and I have built relationships by literally giving people feedback and saying, look, I really appreciate the opportunity. It sounds like you're actively going out there and wholesaling deals, or as an agent, you're acquiring or getting listings that are with sellers that are selling distressed property. I love to work with people like you. However, based upon our analysis and based on this feedback I'm going to give you, here's where I'm at. And I know that may not work for the seller or for you as the wholesaler, but that's where I'm at. So, let me know if they want to consider this. And if not, I totally understand. I'd love to look at the next opportunity together with you. Could you keep me on the top of your list? I'm serious about buying 1, 2, 5, 10, 20 properties this year, this quarter, this month. Okay. One of my newest inner circle members just joined us this week. He's committing to buy 2 properties. I'm going to do a quick shout out for this guy. He's up in New Jersey. He's in the Mercer and Middlesex County area looking for add a level. So if anybody gets a ranch style home or a Cape Cod style home that is on at least a 7,500 square foot lot that can have the second floor added to the property and actually build a second story on top of what's already there, which sounds nuts maybe to some of you, but that's what people do. And they do what's called forced appreciation. It's major value add. We're talking about putting out $500,000 or $300,000. In fact, we have a project in New Jersey just like this up in northern New Jersey that's underway. So if you want to learn more about that, we can connect. You can just hit me up on a DM if you're curious about it. But fact is, he's looking to buy 2 of these a month. 2 a month. And he's looking to buy them for between, I think, $300,000 to $500,000. And he wants to put in maybe $250,000 to $500,000 and then sell them for over $1 million. So it's nice. They're nice size margins, lots of work, lots of renovations, but it's a very interesting model because it's another animal of what we do. But that is, he's got a property he's looking at. They're asking $600,000. We did the analysis. I think he needs to be at like $500,000. He's going to make the offer. Like there's no harm in making the offer. Magda says, would you use an LOI? You could use an LOI. An LOI is kind of more common in like commercial real estate when you're making offers in like multifamilies and apartment buildings, things like that, office complexes, mixed use, industrial. An LOI just kind of is a letter of intent. I intend to do these things under the notions of what you suggested. I believe an LOI is typically non-binding, so to me it doesn't sound as strong if you're talking about residential real estate. Most people want to see a contract, a purchase and sale contract, right? Or maybe an option contract if you're dealing with a wholesaler or you're dealing with a seller that has the ability to work with you for a period of time to see if you could find an investor, for example. I use an option contract to get into an option agreement saying, look, I'm going to go and make an offer at this number under the notion that I have an investor who wants to buy it from me for a higher price. I have the option to trigger this purchase within 1 week, 2 weeks, a month. That's another very unique. If you're interested about the option contracts, we should have a conversation one-to-one. Put the word option. Many people don't know how to do this at all or never been around this. And something that one of my mentors showed me a long time ago that's literally helped us do most of the deals we've done using very simple paperwork. So if you need help with an option contract, put the word option. A purchase and sale, otherwise PSA agreement, is going to be a full-blown purchase and sale. By the way, check with your attorneys on all this stuff. I'm just giving you information, right? I take no risk or liability from what you decide to do or not to do. That goes without saying. This is for educational purposes in this group. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a professional tax advisor or anything like that or CPA. You all have to decide for yourself, but I'm telling you from experience, what we do, what we would do as ourselves at our company, doing this stuff, living it, okay? And so an option contract is nice because I can have the rights to buy for a period of time under a predetermined price, but not have to buy because I decide that this person I'm dealing with, the other side, the seller, the wholesaler, the agent, understands that I have an exit strategy that has to do with either selling that deal to somebody else or possibly waiting for financing or whatever it is, or getting like a rent-to-own type of situation. A lease option is another structure, combining the concept of both having the purchase option as well as a lease agreement. So there's different ways you could structure these, but that's a whole, it's like another area that most people don't have as much awareness to or understanding of. Basic stuff says to get the critical path, as I call it, to get to a closing in 30 days, we want to think of negotiation as simply reiterating what my analysis says and making an offer based upon my proper analysis. Check it out though. Here's the thing. And this is going to be tough for you guys to hear. And I'm not saying this because I know everything, because I definitely don't. But I'll say most people that hear this message, right? And I'm one of these people when it comes to certain types of asset classes, because I'm not an analysis expert in all these different things with like industrial buildings, self-storage, like warehouses. That's not my thing. I don't focus on that. But most people that hear this message today, right now, in the groups that this is being promoted in, do not have enough understanding of analysis to make proper offers. Most people listening to me, maybe you, maybe not, I'm not saying this in an insulting way, but most people just don't. And ironically, most of my strength is analyzing residential and small multifamily real estate. So that's a core focus of mine. I come from an IT and analysis background, let alone being in business and real estate. So that's an area of strength that I break down for my clients and members in the Growth Collective on a consistent basis. And today, right after this meeting, we're having a conversation on analysis, okay? And I might have time, depending upon if somebody has a hot seat, what we call as a hot seat, kind of looking at a deal together. If you guys want to join me in there, okay, the first thing to do is right now, while you have a moment, if you're not already in the community, the Growth Collective community, you're going to want to get registered today. Like right now, go to jointhegrowthcollective.com and enroll, right? And if you don't think that today's meeting is worth the monthly commitment alone, just today's meeting alone, I will give you a refund after you join it. If you join today, and my team doesn't even know I offer this right now. If you join today as a monthly pay option, it should be on the website there. If you don't think that the meeting we have right after this one for the next hour or so is worth the month's worth of membership alone, then I'll just hand you back a refund. Because I really don't want to be having people come in that don't think it's worth the time or money what they're putting into. I really mean that. And I'm not here to collect your money and then make you feel like it's weird or awkward. You don't need it. No. I'm here to serve, and I invest a lot of time and effort into serving my community, the Growth Collective, and you guys here listening to me wherever you're at. And again, like, respectfully, it's just, I know that it's going to be solving a lot of problems for people that might need that help. So no risk, right? Join today, but first thing is enroll while you have a few minutes. If you want to take a break from this particular broadcast, and just go to that website, jointhegrowthcollective.com, enroll. If after today's 1 p.m., right after this, which will get you the Zoom link and stuff right away, assuming you do that, you don't think it's worth the monthly payment for that 1 hour, we'll just hand back and say, hey, God bless, good luck, no problem. We appreciate it. You giving it a shot. And thank you, Krista, for saying that. I appreciate that. All right. So Kristen's part of our community. She's seen it. She's actually one of the newest members, so I appreciate that so much. And I see Esther's here as well. She's been working with us for a little while, and Cynthia. So just love having my folks in the room here with us. Thank you, Esther, for that. Really appreciate that. So look, analysis will make or break the deal. And many of you, right, tell me if you've ever been here before, I know I have, get stuck in analysis paralysis because you don't really know. You kind of like maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Is this the right way? Is it the wrong way? That is where most everybody we work with needs help, and that's where we could solve the problems the most, is in that space of analysis. So again, join thegrowthofthe.com. There's no obligation, no risk. Join today. If it's not what you think it is, doesn't help you, if it doesn't serve you, then by all means, just tell us by tomorrow, and we'll just get you a refund. It's no big deal. Just come in, make a commitment, join the meeting, show us you're serious, and then we'll see how it goes. If it goes well, you like it, stay with us. If you don't, hey, no problem. God bless, and we'll be in touch. But we got to move into negotiation. Like I said, we got to make an offer, and check it out. The negotiation process also, 4 years plus of my experience was in corporate negotiation. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that. Go for it. Start the year off right. That's right, man. Now is the time. It's like, if not you, then who? If not now, then when? Like, I can't emphasize it enough. Like, it's January 4th. My daughter's birthday is in a few days. Like, this is like, we're coming around almost 10 years in business, but I'm still making investments into the business on a consistent basis to grow the companies and grow myself. And that's never going to stop. It's never going to stop where I'm always pushing for more growth. Because if I'm not growing, if the company's not growing, guess what? It's not growing. It's, it's dying. And that's not what we ever want to see. So we want to help growth occur. It's like fertilizing the ground. You got to make an investment in yourself and into your business. You want to build a business, but you're not willing to put the investment into it. That's a little bit of an issue for most people. They want all the things that fall from the sky, these amazing opportunities. They're not putting in work. They're not putting in money. They're not putting in focus and time. So that's a problem. We got to fix that. And if that's you, with all due respect, I'm probably not the right guy to help you. If you're somebody sitting here that's not willing to put in the effort, not willing to put in the time and the money to do this and do it the right way, thank you for being here. I appreciate your fellowship and hearing this message, but we're probably not a good fit. So it's no big deal. You could just, disconnect and go on with your day. But if you're somebody who's serious and committed to your growth and success, then this is exactly what you need, I think, because really a lot of people get stuck. Again, analysis and making offers. That's where a lot of the sticky points, and my team can attest as my clients and members can say the same. You just saw two of the newer members actually saying these things. And somebody, Kevin, who's been here for, in the business for almost, a long time, I'm not going to say decades. Like, this guy traveled the country, and now he's coaching with us, which is so cool. I'm so honored to have Kevin. I want to thank Kevin for committing and being there for us. And I'm looking just to reciprocate every way possible to help you and grow you in your business in any capacity I can, and give people to you that can help grow all the things that you're doing, Kevin, all the things you're focusing on in New Jersey and beyond, because Kevin's also in the private money space. Kevin and his family are in real estate. His family's in the brokerage business. They're like the top agents in Northern New Jersey and stuff. It's just amazing people. So you got to connect with Kevin Clark if you don't know Kevin Clark, okay? But the fact is, this is one of the first people I ever met, and it's so cool to have him come back and now 10 years later, a decade later, come and help with us and grow what we're doing, which is so awesome. So I'm excited for that. But and thank you, Esther. Appreciate that. Tried other investor. We're nothing compared to the JV. Well, I think thank you for that. I think you're talking about JDL, but it's close enough. JV, JDL. I know the difference. It's like right there. We've actually thought about JDL. It actually stands for Jacob, Dima, Doug, and London. Now also Jude is my youngest. But at the end of the day, in the office before COVID, we were actually talking about like branding it to be joint venture deal leader. Joint venture deal leader, because in fact, like 95% of what we do is some kind of joint venture collaboration. So yes, if you're looking to JV, even another reason, join the growthcollective.com. It's all about collaboration and partnership and JVing. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that, man. So we're at the negotiation phase, and I was saying I've got like 4+ years in corporate IT and negotiations working in what's called strategic sourcing. So literally the largest RFP, requests for proposal, that we were working on evaluating as a company had 70+ members across like 10 or 15 different companies and functions in J&J, and it was a $500 million RFP. $500 million, meaning that the company was planning to spend $500 million on this thing across the next X number of years with this particular thing. And I was part of the team that helped analyze that and negotiate the contracts with the suppliers. So I was around pretty high level, pretty intense negotiations from a young age, right? In my 20s, and now almost 40 years old, like basically have a decade and a half of like serious negotiation experience. So again, another reason we can help you. And it's all about understanding, how do I collaboratively negotiate? Not just how do I get what I want, but how do I make it a win-win? What are the levers at play, right? Where do I have to figure out what can I give to get what I need? So these are things we have to look at, and I live this every single day, and all the things we're negotiating every single day, whether it be a transaction, a relationship, a scenario with a new relationship in the business, trying to figure out how do we add value to that particular party, that particular company, whether it be capital partners, deal partners, etc. So it's always a negotiation. It's literally every single day. So I do have a lot of capacity to help and serve in that way too. But you need to understand, get really good at negotiating. Get really good at making it a win-win. Get really good at giving others what they need so you can get what you need in return, right? And be reasonable. Like, it's, again, not this like, I get everything I want and everyone else loses. That's a horrible way to negotiate. That's not going to suffice and sustain. So I can help you with that. We get through the negotiation. We go back and forth. We make an offer. This is the price, the terms. I can close this fast, da-da-da. We go back and forth a couple times. Hopefully, at some point, we land on an agreement. Yes, we got it a win. Step 3, negotiate, is completed. Where do we go next? Step 4, contract. Okay. I'll say this another thing, right? I mean, once it's like people, I think, generally look at the following. They say, I want to identify where there's deals and I want to close them. Like, those are the bookends, but everything in the middle is what matters. Kind of like a fix and flip. I could buy it and I could sell it for a much higher price. What has to happen in the middle? If we just look at the beginning and the end and we don't think about the middle, we're going to be stuck in the middle for a pretty long time and not know what to do. And I've lived it, unfortunately, right? I haven't always, every single deal, been successful. I've learned a lot in the process. We've made mistakes. We've failed. I'm not afraid to tell you this. And if you want to talk privately about how some of those things happen, that's, again, you'll hear about that in stories that I share in the Growth Collective, right? So join thegrowthcollective.com and get you access to that. But the fact is, when you're in the contract phase, it's not as simple as just taking a piece of paper and drawing up a contract most of the time. There's certain forms and process and templates and people that you have to deal with. So very simply, though, the critical path is leveraging someone else who already understands contracts. An attorney, a real estate agent, right? The other person that's already in the transaction, the wholesaler, maybe the investor. But by giving them the authority to do that, you're also giving away control. And you have to be careful you don't give away too much and lose in the negotiation, that they're getting more than what they should get and you're not getting enough. So we have to understand that contract negotiation is also important. Because I could agree on the price and the terms, but if the contract stipulates some other stuff, like different, let's say, inspection contingencies, if I'm selling a property, I don't really want inspections or minimal inspections. If I'm buying a property, I want all of them. So I'm in completely two different opposite ends of the spectrum. And I had to figure out how to navigate through that. So, what's the proper contract negotiation? Or is it the words or the terms used or the structure of the contract or the form of the contract? Is it a simple 2-page agreement or a 1-page option? Or is it a 13, 14, 15-page standard realtor form because I'm dealing with a real estate agent, has all these different legalese and different sections? Or is it even more than that? Or is it a bank owned deal where there's no negotiation practically because banks don't like to negotiate anything? It's like take it or leave it, auction. You win or you lose. We can't tell you which, but it's binary. It's no middle ground. It's like you like this or take it or leave it. So we've had experience literally dealing with all types of contracts, whether it's regular purchase and sale agreements, standard realtor forms across multiple states. We've helped our clients negotiate contracts in like probably 15 or 20 different states. We've got basically experience with bank-owned properties, foreclosures, auction deals, assignments of contract, membership interest agreements, like all kinds of wacky things that you never even maybe heard of before that have to do with transacting this way. So if you need help there, hey, I'll tell you again, join thegrowthcollective.com. It's a simple gateway to get access. Literally in the next few minutes, we're going to pop over to that meeting on Zoom. And anyone who joins now, like I said, if you join today and you feel like the next hour after this session is not worth the time, not worth the money, we'll just ask kindly and we'll give you your money back. It's not a lot of money. It's a few $100 to get started and you're off to the races. Or you could decide that it's not for you and we say, hey, listen, no problem. Here you go. But that being said, once we negotiate the contract, once we get the contract signed, both parties have to sign, all parties have to sign, all parts of the seller have to sign, all parts of the buyer have to sign. I have stories upon stories I could share where half of the seller, husband signs, wife doesn't, creates a big issue. I've told the story once before. It was an over $50,000 assignment deal that we had already signed up. And it's a very unfortunate scenario, but the party that signed passed away in the process of us buying the property, and the wife did not want to sell, and we didn't have her contract. We had to negotiate through that. We didn't have her sign on the contract. We had to negotiate through that. And we barely, by the skim of what, made it work. But we spent a lot of money on attorneys and stuff like that, and it was not really ideal. It was a very unfortunate situation, but we made it a win-win. The punchline is that they ended up facing foreclosure, and if they didn't have us buy it, they would have had a bigger issue. So, and who knows? It's just a lot of stuff, which, again, I don't have the time to get into. But there's stories upon stories I can share with you and examples and show case studies and scenarios and real deals that we can show as examples of our clients, our members, and also our own business. But we got to get to what? A closing, right? And closing, I'm going to rattle off a bunch of stuff you're going to need for a closing. You're going to need capital, right? We can provide most of the capital through our debt fund. We can provide the rest of the capital through our relationships of investors that do joint ventures and gap funding for partners and whatnot that want to do deals. We've also got, construction as far as planning for construction, getting your scope of work and your budget figured out before you close on a property. Very good idea. Don't buy the property before you know your scope and your budget, right? Understanding what's the timeline going to look like, right? There's this concept of a triple constraint, a triangle that represents time, scope, and budget. Without proper understanding of all three, time, scope, and budget, the project is deemed to fail. Even if it's a rental property, the time is how quickly can I get it rented? The budget is what do I need to spend to get this place ready to rent? And the scope is what do I need to do to get that stuff done? Like, what's the stuff to get done? What's the money I'm spending on? What's it for? To get it rented. If it's a fix and flip, it's pretty obvious. It's the renovation plan. It's the scope of what that renovation is. It's the time of how long it's going to take to do that, given to you by a contractor that's going to do the work. And it's a budget. Check it out. All this stuff happens in a matter of a week or two. So the first 2 weeks of a 30-day close have to do with buying the property on paper. Finding, analyzing, negotiating, and contracting, that takes about 2 weeks if you have a deal that you like. In general, I mean, you could do this fast. You could do it in a couple of days. You could do it today even if you wanted to. I'm giving you a realistic, within 2 weeks of starting, you can get a contract on a property within 2 weeks, like without a shadow of a doubt. Like time and time again, we've done it. We've helped clients do it. It's not even a question. It might sound nuts, but it is what it is. I'm telling you facts. 2 weeks or less, you have a contract. If you're committed to getting a contract, if you're committed to being willing to maybe step a little bit outside your comfort zone, maybe not buying exactly that really refined one thing that you've been waiting for that you know is probably few and far between, like less than 0.1% of what exists in the market, but you want to buy that. If you're that specific, it's going to be a little bit longer than 2 weeks. But if you're open-minded, if you see an opportunity to do what? To contract flip. Let me give you an example. Last night, I got a deal, and I'm going to put it out there for the group here. It's probably already sold, just so you know. The team doesn't even know about it. I got a deal from a relationship from a previous client. He's up in New Jersey. I helped him get started. He's an amazing guy. Him and his wife have retired from other things to do real estate, and he's done all the work, but I helped him get started a little bit in the early phase about 5 years ago, 6 years ago. He's gone on to do multiple deals a month, this guy, wholesale flips. Probably makes close to 100K, if not more, a month in just wholesaling. If that sounds like something you want, just put 100K, and I'll know you want to make 100K a month because I know that this is possible for you, but I'll know who you are, and we'll follow up about this. He sent me a text on Facebook saying, I got this deal in southern New Jersey in a place called Willingboro, which, if you don't know where that is, it doesn't really matter that much, but it's in a great town, right, in southern New Jersey. And I happen to know an investor or two that buy cash in that particular area. So I'd send a text to both of them and say, hey, I got this guy sending me a deal. Would you be interested? One guy says, I'm not currently buying there. We just do wholesaling. The other guy says, yes, I'm interested. How do I get access? This was last night at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. That particular individual might even hear this message. So I just ask for confidentiality. If you hear this, just let's laugh about it, but don't share because I want to make sure we protect our relationships here. I'm not sharing the source. I'm not sharing the buyer on purpose. So I just want to let you know, if either one of you hear me, I would very much appreciate that. For right now, we can close the deal and celebrate it, and that's awesome. But the fact is, with a couple of texts, just like another one we did last year, where I got a deal presented to me in one room, and I sent the text to 4 people in different places that were in southern Florida. Matter of a few days, basically, a couple of conversations, we negotiated a deal which made us 10 grand. Not too far different from this one in Willingboro. So it's not complicated to flip deals if you have a deal that makes sense and if you have a buyer who can close. Let me say that one more time. We need deals that make sense. Deal flow. Do you have deal flow? Who in the room right now, and I'm going to cut this in a second here, go over to the Zoom, who has deal flow? If you have deal flow, put the word deal flow or just DF, that's fine. DF or deal flow. If you have active deal flow right now, if you're currently getting deals presented to you as a real estate investor, my team wants to know, we want to know who to follow up with about the deals that you're getting. Put the letters DF or deal flow, wherever you're hearing this message. On the other hand, if you have investors or capital that is looking to be invested, relationships or your own capital, that's called capital flow, the way I call that. So CF, capital flow. CF or capital flow. If that's you, let us know capital flow. I have investors, I have capital, I have resources of people, relationships that have capital, or I have lenders or private money or whatever you want to consider, that's capital flow. The business of wholesaling is literally the connection of deal flow and capital flow to make it profit flow for you, okay? So it sounds kind of funny, I just made that up, but it's literally that. Deal flow, capital flow yields profit flow to you. Check it out. CF, I love that. Cynthia, thank you. Yep, that's her initials. So she's got some capital flow. I know she does because she's got relationships with investors. So she is a capital flow party in our world. And so are many of the other folks in our Growth Collective community. Capital flow. They're looking for deal flow. So if you have deals, we need deals. Wholesale at jdlventures.com. DM me deals. We'll get you to the right people. But the fact is, we are, as a company, a conduit of sorts. And our community is itself a conduit to get capital flow and deal flow connected to create profit flow. All right, so that's how this works. And that's the way that you could close a deal in 30 days or less by simply connecting deals to capital. Deal flow to capital flow yields profit within 30 days. Now, maybe you're looking to buy a property in the next 30 days. You're looking to buy a rental. Do me a favor and just type the word rental. If you're looking to buy something in the next month and you want to buy a rental, comment rental or send me a direct message on whatever platform, Facebook or somewhere else this might go, rental. Okay, if you want to buy a rental in 30 days or less, guaranteed, I can guarantee that if you join us in the community, and if you don't, we can talk about what that looks like, okay? 30 days or less to buy a rental. We have multiple opportunities available right now that could work for you. So before I say, yes, we could do this 100% for you and your specific thing, I'm going to want to say, like, if you're realistic with returns and you know that, the market is what the market is, we can guarantee that if you're realistic, we could bring you opportunities within the next 30 days to close, but you have to be realistic and we have to be also realistic with you. Flips, okay? Fix and flips. A little more tricky, but still possible right now. If you're looking to flip, put the word flip. Again, within 30 days. Join us in the Growth Collective. If you don't feel like the community is sufficient, is going to get you what you want, if you feel like it's not bringing you the power of the flip that you want to buy, and you're not getting that within 30 days, and that's the only reason you joined, it's like no questions asked. We'll just have you come in, join us for 30 days. If you take it serious and participate, and you don't get the value or get the flip or the rental that you want, we'll just say, look, it was a 30-day paid trial. We'll give it money back, no problems, no questions asked. I'm making these commitments. The team doesn't even know. That's okay, because I'm going with the flow. I'm going with the capital flow and the deal flow to create the profit flow, and now for you to flow into the Growth Collective community. So again, join thegrowthcollective.com, enroll for the 1 month. You could do the full pay for the year if you want to do that and just get that out of the way, but that's a different story. Lock in your spot and join us in the next few minutes. We're going to be switching over. And I can't get you the link here because it wouldn't be fair to those folks that are already committed financially and otherwise to the program. But for those of you that are members that are hearing this message, that are already members of the Growth Collective, we're going to be using the Zoom link, which you already should have. If you don't have the Zoom link, go to your Slack channel. I'm telling you right now, everybody, Slack, the system that we use and the communication vehicle that we use, in of itself is worth hundreds of dollars a month just to have access to that for 24/7 support, one-to-one to you. From us to you, multiple of my team members, including myself, plugged into your business almost 24/7. That alone of itself is worth the investment into the Growth Collective community. But you got to see it for yourself, maybe, and understand that. So listen, I appreciate you all being here. Again, join thegrowthcollective.com has the next steps. You could join us today. You could consider it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm excited for you to close your next deal, your first deal in the next 30 days. And if you're ready to make that happen, let us know. Until then, God bless, and I'll see my Growth Collective members in just a couple seconds inside of Zoom. See you guys. Have a good day.